r/AskReddit by Reddify. People of Reddit. What's the stupidest thing you've done as a child out of curiosity? I stuck a fork in a light socket to see if it would actually shock me. It did. Stole something small out of a store to see in what type of trouble I'd get into. Turns out I was young enough for them to simply tell me to leave. Poured water down a hive of wasps when I was 6. Thought they looked thirsty because the water droplets I gave them around the entrance all got sucked up. Turns out they were just trying to keep their home free of moisture. My grandfather, who was gardening at the time, saw the cloud that came up. He grabbed me and ran inside. I still got stung 10 plus times though. My sister, a year younger, who had been watching me, went inside and closed the door the moment I had poured the cup. She is much smarter than I am. She still remembers the way the wasps slammed against the door trying to follow us in. I sharpened my pinky finger using a sharpener, and oh boy, blood was everywhere. I have posted this story before, but it is fitting. When I was a kid, I liked to put coins in my mouth. Like a lot of children, I liked the metallic taste. My mother would always stop me when she caught me doing it. One day I was home basically alone. My mom was at work and my dad was asleep as he worked the night shift. I was in my bedroom and put a quarter in my mouth. The quarter fell over my windpipe and I started to choke. I remember being scared because I couldn't breathe. Not sure if I could make it to my dad's room to wake him up. And thinking mom was right. At the last second, as the lights were starting to dim, my gag reflex kicked in and I coughed up the quarter. I sat there looking at it. I vowed from that day forward I would never put coins in my mouth again. I didn't tell my mom about it for years. I was left alone in the car for a few minutes. I loosened the handbrake. While the car was located on a hill, my grandpa had to run for the car and make it stop. I was maybe 5. I was making instant ramen for myself for the first time without my mom's supervision. I love fire, so I thought it would be cool to play with the Shinramen plastic wrapper and the fire from my stove. I knew the sink was nearby just in case. Plastic gets lit, and I'm about to bring it to the sink to watch it burn. And it drops onto the floor. I sang happy birthday to the small fire on the floor, and it didn't go out until my mom appeared shortly after and doused it with a bowl of water. The floor ended up having burn marks until we remodeled it when I was 12. I ate a cigarette as a kid because I didn't understand the concept of smoking, but I regularly saw my dad putting cigarettes in his mouth. So, one time when he was in another room, he had his pack on the coffee table and, well, I was hungry. I petted a dead rotting rat, but it was out of love. I tried to change the TV channel remotely with a butter knife. I must have been sitting on the real remote when I picked up the knife and the channel changed. I was convinced it was some kind of crazy electronic interference I didn't understand. So I tried to change the channel again with the knife. I thought if I concentrated really hard it would work. It didn't. Tried jumping over a waist-high fence. Should have been easy. Went for the jump. Made it over, but in the process, kneed myself in the face and knocked myself out. I don't know how long I was out for. I believed that everything that was red tasted like strawberries. I find out that I was wrong after I ate some red wool. Edit. Thank you to whoever gave me the gold. I once touched a spinning blade with the tip of my nail to see how fast it was spinning. Luckily only lost the tip of my nail and not my finger. No idea what I was thinking. Edit. Wow, looks like I'm definitely not alone in this particular curiosity. I wonder how many of us are male and if women ever do such stupid things. Edit 2. A few asked what spinning blade. It was the kitchen mixer. This was the 80s, so there was no safety mechanism that prevented the blades from spinning when the mixer body wasn't on. I was getting a drink of water, looked at the mixer and thought, gee, I wonder how fast that really spins and how it would feel against my finger. I sat on train tracks, seeing if I'd be fast enough to dodge it. After 30 minutes, I got bored, though. Might have saved my life. If you are enjoying the video, please give a thumbs up and leave a comment. I drank an entire bottle of cough medicine because I wanted to know if it would kill me. I was a 30-pound wee kid and Benadryl made me pass out for an entire day. My parents still don't know. and when I passed out I was sure I was dying. I let my friend punch me in the face once, just to see what it was like to get punched in the face. I heard that if you stuck a knife in the toaster it would explode or something. So one day I decided to try it. I touched the top of the toast, not the metal. Squeaked it around a bit on the crust, and nothing happened. So I tried it again, and again, and again. So for a couple months after that I would use that method to see how toasted the bread was. I stopped after I saw my dad pull the lever up manually, causing the toast to kind of fly up in the air. You know? I thought that looks cool as hell, so I switched to that method. That was way more fun cause I was obsessed with how high up in the air I could make the toast go. And if I caught both pieces before they hit the ground I won. So basically I spent a couple months playing Operation with my own life on the line. I'm not sure I deserve to be that insanely lucky. I like milk. I like Coke. Let's make some magic. Proceeds to vomit for the next 10 minutes. We were having a penny race on my friend's parents' hallway wall. Pressing a penny flat against the wallpaper and running it across the wall with a finger. My penny slipped and fell directly behind the little plug-in nightlight. Onto the prongs. The lights in the entire house flickered and went dark. Blue electricity spidered up the wallpaper and my friend unplugged the nightlight. The lights came back on, and where the electricity had been was burnt. Black wallpaper in the same design. They were grounded, and I couldn't come over for weeks. A classic. Stuck my head through the banister on the stairs. I got stuck. Was stuck there until my uncle woke up from his nap and saw me while he was walking down the stairs. If he wasn't an athlete I don't think he would have been able to pull the metal rods apart the way he did. And of course I told my mom I got my head through. So I thought I could get it out. I was a teen, but I shot myself through the foot with a homemade blowgun to see if it could pierce flesh. Went all the way through. Ate some ants, because I saw Baloo the bear do that in the Jungle Book. Cut the power cord of a fan with a pair of scissors. There was a flash. Next thing I knew I was in the hospital. When I was a kid, my family would go on camping trips during the summer. My dad always brought a big kerosene lamp, which was very bright, but it would heat up enough to burn flesh on contact. My dad told me many times not to touch the lamp. I touched the lamp. My dad sat in silence across the campsite and watched me touch the lamp. I turned pale, started sweating, and put on my best poker face. Dad, remember how you told me not to touch the lamp? I fell asleep that night with my fingers in a cup of ice. This is one of my dad's funniest memories. I smashed one of my fingers with a rubber mallet just to see what would happen. Pain happened. I touched one of the cigarette lighters found in cars after pushing it in several times and thinking it wasn't working to find out what the coils feel like. Well, they feel hot. Me and my friend grabbed garbage bags and climbed up the roof to jump off and see if they'd work as parachutes. They didn't. But I think it's cause we needed more height, lol. Filled the locks on my parents' cars with twigs so they couldn't go anywhere. They wouldn't take me to the park, so I wouldn't let them go anywhere then. Cost them a pretty penny to get them all out too. I pulled the fire alarm in my school. It went off. The fire truck came. I put my finger in a wasp nest. I got stung by a wasp. I tried to shave with my father's razor. I cut my face. I touched a hot stove. I burned my finger. I graduated from an Ivy League university. There is hope for your dumb kids. I wanted to see if your tongue could actually get stuck to ice like in cartoons. My dad found me crouching with my tongue glued to the bottom shelf of the freezer. I think a bit of my tongue was left on that shelf after I pulled myself away. I rubbed deep heat all over my penis. Then went downstairs and sat at the family dining table to eat dinner. I ate my dinner very quickly that day. Used a metal kebab skewer to touch the pilot spark on a kitchen hob. The shock was great enough that I thought my friend next to me had punched me really hard in the shoulder. I turned and had a go at him, shortly after realizing I just shocked myself. Stomped on a cactus barefoot because my cousin told me it was a time machine and that's how it worked. It wasn't a time machine. When I was 5 I tried to see if I could fit my head through the bars going up the stairs. I got my head in, but couldn't get back out. My mom called the fire department. They pried me out and gave me a teddy bear.